Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sindhu. During fieldwork, an MSW student visit a village. She sees children dropping out of school, women struggling without income opportunities, and elderly people without support. After completing MSW, she has two choices. She can search for a job in an existing organization, or she can ask a bigger question. Can I create my own solution for this problem? That question is where many NGOs begin. But starting an NGO is not simply about having passion or registering an organization. Many MSW students have questions. How do I start an NGO? What are the legal procedures? Which registration should I choose? Trust, society, or Section 8 company? How much money is required in the beginning? How do NGOs get funding? How can we approach CSR funding and government projects? Can an NGO founder earn a living from this work? In this video, we are going to understand the complete journey of starting an NGO after MSW. Let's begin. Welcome to Learn with Dr. Sindhu. Before starting an NGO, understand what an NGO means. NGO means non-governmental organization. It is an organization created to work for social causes. For example, child welfare, women empowerment, elderly care, disability support, mental health awareness, community development, education, rural development. An NGO is not started just because someone wants to help people. A good NGO starts with a clear social problem and a planned solution. Now, the important question. Is every MSW graduate ready to start an NGO immediately? My answer would be your MSW degree gives you a strong foundation, but starting an NGO requires more than a degree. A student who has genuine commitment towards a social issue, fieldwork experience, understanding of community needs, leadership ability, communication skills, basic financial and management knowledge can think about starting an NGO. Your fieldwork experience is very valuable. During fieldwork, don't only complete your report, observe what problem exists, what services are missing, what can be improved. Many NGOs were born from someone observing a real community problem. Let's see step-by-step process to start an NGO. Step 1. Identify your social cause. In which area or field you need to start an NGO. The first mistake many people make is, I want to start an NGO. But my question is, for what purpose? A strong NGO start with a clear idea like, I want to solve this specific problem. Example, if one just tells, I want to help children, it is a weak idea. Instead, strong idea is that I want to reduce school dropouts among rural children in my district. So next step 2, conduct a need assessment. Social workers already learned this skill. Before starting any program, understand the community. Study who needs support, what is the actual problem, what solutions already exist, what gap can you NGO fill. An NGO should not be based only on emotions. It should be based on evidence. Step 3. Prepare your organization plan. Now, prepare a basic roadmap. Decide mission of your NGO, mission, target population, programs you will conduct, team requirements, budget, funding plan. Now, once you have identified your social problem, studied the community, and prepare your basic plan, the next question comes. How do I convert this idea into a legally recognized organization? Because having an idea is the first step. But to receive funding, open a bank account, work with companies or government projects, your organization needs a proper legal identity. So, now let's understand the legal process of starting an NGO in India. In India, most NGOs are registered under three common structures: trust, society, Section 8 company. Many students get confused which one should I choose? There is no single answer. The choice depends on your purpose, scale, and future plans. Let's first understand a trust. A trust is generally created when individuals want to dedicate resources or property for a charitable purpose. For example, imagine a person owns a land and wants to create an organization for elderly care. They create a trust where the objectives are clearly mentioned. This trust will work for elderly welfare, healthcare support, and care services. The people managing it are called trustees. The trustees are responsible for ensuring that the activities happen according to the objectives mentioned in the trust deed. Many charitable foundations in India work under the trust model, especially those started by families or individuals for a specific social cause. Now let us understand society. A society is usually created when a group of people or individuals come together with a common social objective. For example, suppose 5 MSW graduates from a college or university decide we want to work for youth welfare development or youth development. They come together, prepare objectives, form a governing body, and registered as a society. The society structure is useful when there are multiple members actively involved in managing the organization. Example, many educational, cultural, and community development organizations work as registered societies. Now, the third structure is Section 8 company. Many professionally managed NGOs choose this structure because it has a more formal corporate framework. For example, suppose a team wants to create a national level organization working in areas like education, healthcare, or livelihood development. They may choose a Section 8 company structure because it provides a more organized governance system. So, if you are an MSW graduate thinking about starting an NGO, a small community initiative may begin with a trust or society model. A larger organization planning professional expansion may consider a Section 8 company. The choice should be made after discussing with legal professionals because registration rules and requirements can vary. Now, registration only gives your NGO a legal identity. But registration alone does not bring money. The next big question every NGO founder faces is how will my organization survive financially? Because a good social idea needs resources to continue. So now let us understand NGO funding.